if we manage to keep the temperature level below 2 degrees by the end of the century, we can expect that the sea level will rise by about 1 meter. That doesn't sound like much, but we need to realize that a lot of people worldwide live below 1 meter. And the worst part is that this number keeps increasing year after year. And whereas a lot of people should already start moving inland to protect themselves from flooding related to sea level rise, the reality is that the number of people who live on coasts and in deltas keeps increasing. And particularly here in Southeast Asia, this is where the majority of the world population live. There are more people living there than anywhere else in the world. And the problem is that they keep building on the coast, and we know very well that at 1 meter sea level rise, there will be huge consequences for countries like Indonesia, that a lot of people will need to move like this and like that. That's the same in the Philippines here, or in Bangladesh. In Bangladesh, half of the territory is located under sea level rise. Bangladesh is a small country that's about 1/4 of France. And it's also a very populated country. It's estimated that there are roughly 170 million people living in Bangladesh. And because half of the territory is located under sea level rise, it means that a lot of people will need to migrate when the sea level will rise. And where could they migrate? Well, Bangladesh only has a border with 2 countries. One is with Burma, and we've seen that the border was rather crossed in the other way over the last few months, since Bangladesh has welcomed about 1 million Rohingya refugees persecuted in Burma. The other one, which is about 3,200 kilometers long, is with India. And in order to prevent itself from welcoming refugees, India has decided to build a border fence, which is now the longest in the world, of 3,200 kilometers. So the prospect is not exactly optimistic, I would say, when it comes to the human consequences of a 2-degree warming. Yet this is our official objective. In Copenhagen in 2009 and again in Paris in 2015, we agreed that we should do everything to try and limit climate change to 2 degrees. This is a political compromise between the impacts that seemed acceptable and the emission reductions that seemed achievable. So 2 degrees is really the political compromise between the acceptable and the achievable. The question we need to ask ourselves is, are these impacts that we've just discussed, are they really acceptable? And the emission reductions that it would entail, meaning cutting greenhouse gas emissions in 2 by 2050, is that really achievable given the course we are now at the moment? Which is the reason why increasingly a number of scientists consider that 2 degrees is becoming day after day, week after week, months after months, year after year, an unrealistic objective. And that a 4-degree warming, which seemed like a science fiction scenario 10 years ago, is now becoming an increasingly plausible scenario, and possibly even the most plausible scenario as we speak today in March 2018.